Hi there, my name's Vince from mymatevince.com, and in this video today I'm going to show you how you can connect up your Xbox 360 controllers and your PlayStation 4 controllers to the Xbox Series X. This will also work on the Xbox Series S as well. So I'm going to show you two different ways of doing it. One is going to be a way if you want to use your PlayStation 4 or your Xbox 360 controllers a lot of the times, then it would be best to fork out and spend the money on an adapter. But if you only wanted just to test it out, or maybe you only wanted to use it once or twice a year, then you can actually get pretty good results by just streaming to your phone. And I'll show you how to do this. And then you connect the controller to the phone, but yet you're playing it on the big screen. So you're just using the phone purely as a basis of connecting the controller. So right now I've got my son on the left hand side and he's using the PlayStation 4 controller. And if you look, there's not a lot of lag. So if you just do a little flick like this, you can see that it's pretty responsive. Now on the right hand side, I've got the Xbox Series X controller connected directly to the Series X, and check it out. There's not a huge amount of difference between the two of them. So we've been messing around on Rocket League and it is completely playable. So obviously if you were doing it every day, you would just get an adapter. But I think it's a good option just to test it out, or if you only want to use it a couple of times a year. So to begin with, I'm going to show you now how to connect it up using adapters, and then at the end I'll show you how to do it using your phone down there. This is an Android phone and this is a Samsung phone. I believe this will work on iOS as well. Unfortunately on the Xbox Series X and S at the moment, as far as I know, Windows 10 is not supported, which is a bit of a shame, but maybe it will be by the time you watch this video. Anyway, let's get started on the adapter side of things. So I've been trying out various different adapters, but these are the two that work. So I've got Titan 1 adapter and also a Cronus Max Plus adapter. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to connect both of them up so we can have two players with the 360 controllers, or 360 controller and PlayStation controller. Obviously, you don't have to connect up two. You can just connect up one. I'm just showing you it for the purpose of the video. So let's start with the Titan 1. We're going to be plugging it into a USB port, either at the front or the two at the back. And if you look closely here, it actually says AU because it needs to be authenticated. So we have to plug in a controller into it so it's taking the security features from that controller and bringing it into the Xbox. So we can use an Xbox Series S, X, or an Xbox One controller because they're the things that actually work on this Series S and X. Let's use an Xbox One controller on this one, and then we'll use a X controller or an S controller on the back. So it's important that you take out the batteries. So make sure you take out the batteries. And then for this one here, we're going to be using a micro USB cable on the top here, and we're going to be plugging in the USB cable into here, and you will see the AU will disappear once we plug it in. So it's given a little vibration and now it's gone to 0. So now we've taken the security from here and put it into here. And you will see it will go to 0. And look, we are now player 1. And if you have a quick look up on the screen here, I know there's shadows all over it, but look, if I was to go to here, home, you can see now that it is working. Well, hopefully you can just about see. Yeah. Okay, and I've gone into the controller app and everything's working fine. In fact, I'll tell you what, let's show you the controller app now because people might be interested about the analog sticks and the triggers. There, here, here. Now watch the triggers go up here. Yeah, and this side here. Let's go halfway. There you go. And all the way. And again, you can see the analog sticks are working as analog. Look, tiny amounts and then full amounts. Yeah. And the same with the right analog stick there. Now, the only thing I can't get working is vibration, which is a bit strange. I've even tried it on my Xbox One and I still can't get vibration coming out of these controllers. You know how to get that, put it down in the comments, and then obviously that will help other people out. Right, let me now show you the second controller, and maybe on that one I will connect up a wireless Xbox 360 controller. For this one here, we're going to be using a USB port around the back. Doesn't matter which one you use, let's just plug it in and you will see again it's going to say AU because it needs to be authenticated. Again, I'm taking the battery pack out of the back, and this time I'm plugging in the USB-C cable up the top here, and I'm going to plug that one into here. Now you can't use the same controller to authenticate both because we've already authenticated the other controller on here. So now the Xbox will recognize this one as the second controller. You can see there it's gone to 0. So now we can plug in, for example, a PlayStation 4 controller into that, or we can plug in a wireless adapter for an Xbox 360 controller. So I've got this little third-party wireless adapter here, one of these ones. I'm going to be plugging that in. You will see that will light up here. And now if I get an Xbox 360 controller and turn it on, you will see now, there you go, it's lit up here. So with this one, unfortunately, it doesn't recognise the difference between player 1 and player 2. You can see they're both lit up as player 1, but they're not. This is definitely a separate player because it's taken the Xbox security from the other one. And what's nice on this 360 controller is you can swap it between a D-pad like that and then switch it this way, and it becomes more flat. So now if you have a quick look up here on this one, see now that this one is also working. Yeah. Now let's say if you wanted to use a wireless PlayStation 4 controller, well that's not a problem at all, because what we can do is we can unplug the wireless Xbox 360 adapter, and then we can put in a Bluetooth dongle, plug it into here, and we can get our PlayStation 4 controller and we can put it into pairing mode by holding down the share button and the PlayStation button, and you will see it will start to flash like so. Straight away it's synced up, okay? Now it's automatically gone to 1. I'm just going to put it back to 0. It does that for some reason. So let's put it back to 0 because 0 is like the default there. And now this will work up here. Okay, you get the idea. Right, and you can see here, there, working absolutely fine. Now, if you want the cheap way of doing it, then we have to use streaming. So let's give that a go right now. For this video here, now, I'm going to show you it working on the Xbox 360 wired controller. So we're going to go into the Xbox app, and we're going to go to that little button in the top right-hand side here. So obviously you need to set up remote play. That can be possibly another video if anybody's interested in that. So I'm going to hit that little button there, and it's going to say Xbox Series X, and I'm going to go to remote play on this device. So I'm going to hit that top one, and now it's connecting to the Xbox. It's now saying getting your console ready, and now it says here connect a controller. Okay, so what we're going to do is, this has a USB-C port on it, so I'm going to use a USB-C to a standard USB female, alright? So now I'm going to plug that into there, and I'm going to plug in my Xbox 360 controller into that. And now you can see it's gone there, and watch. If you have a look now, you can see it moving along when I move this here. But obviously, in this instance, we don't want to play it on the phone here. We just want to play it on the big screen. This is just a way of getting the Xbox 360 controller working. Right, so here we have it here, the Xbox 360 controller on the left-hand side, and obviously this is streaming. But yet, look, there doesn't appear to be... Hold on, let's bring it down on the flat. Watch this. To me, it feels instantaneous. Doesn't feel bad at all. There we go. Now, of course, the Xbox Series X controller is going to work just fine, just like you would expect it to work. Yeah. So there we have it. And if we were to go home on this controller here, you can see that we can now go home here. So that is it for this video. So for all those people asking if you could connect up one of these to one of these, the answer is yes, but of course you need to do a bit of a workaround to get it to work. I thought I'd just do the PlayStation 4 controller just to show you what else is possible. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe for more videos. Take care. Bye now.